I hope you're doing good today. I think I got the camera settings actually pretty nice. So I'm happy about that. If we go into the big mode, I look a lot better. The refresh rate is it's at 60. It wasn't. It said it was. It wasn't. It was full of lies. Pack of lies. Pack of lies. So yeah, today we'll just keep hitting up this tactic stuff. I wanted to see if there was some way of displaying or getting some sort of progress bar going for, I mean, in theory, you know, if I've got a list of here's all the things I need to do, which I do have, right? Then it's like, okay, should be able to show how far along that we are. Let's see, Obsidian progress bar. Progress bar and tasks plugin. Here we go. What's that look like? In development. How to create visual progress bars in Obsidian. Sorry, this video is no longer available. Progress bars, watch videos. Uh-oh, it's not in English. Gadzooks. Hang on, I'm trying to get this yogurt open. So anyways, yeah, so that's what we're gonna be doing. Here's one note. Let's get Obsidian open. Well, if Obsidian can take plugins, I'm in love with it even more now. I'm in love. Command palette. There we go. Now I can drink. Drink my yogurt. Mm-hmm. Task progress bar. A plugin for showing task progress bar near the task's bullets or headings. Only works in live preview mode in Obsidian. So, live preview mode. What the hell is that? Link with pain. Live preview mode. So let's try adding a task here. What is it? Is it something like this? No. Is it a dash? Then an open? I can't remember the markdown for task. So we have an Obsidian URL. What does this do? Can we put this in here? I don't need that open. So that opens an Obsidian. So maybe it's like that? Or is it as simple as that? No, it does need the dash. Task progress bar. Hello. Hello, hello. Now, where is this progress bar crap? Let's go over here. Close all these out. Where is... Add a progress bar to heading. A plugin for showing task progress bar near the task bullets or headings. Only works in live preview mode. This is what I want. Add a progress bar to heading. Make the heading show the task progress bars. How? How? Oh, we gotta enable it. Reload. Alright, now... How do we show this? Yo! Rename this heading. Extract this heading. What does any of it mean? I don't know. Let's reopen Obsidian. I promise I'm going to get to the game dev stuff here. I would like to be able to show some sort of progress bar. Is it in here? Toggle editing review mode. Merge file with open app. Show system explorer. Reveal open local. I don't see it. Okay, well, we'll look into something. I'd like to be able to show a progress bar for what I'm working on. Overall, I've got a big checklist, essentially, but I'd like to be able to take this checklist into actionable items and then show how far along I am in overall development. That's what I'm looking for. But let's just get to work. Let's just get to work. I'm feeling a little spacey. Last couple of days I've been sick. I'm still sick. Feeling a little bit better, but also really tired today. And then I've been staining cabinets, and I'm in the same building that I've been staining cabinets in. And while I would love to have the air flowing out of this building, restart extension host. I wonder why that happened. I don't want hexacore. What are we doing? I would like to be able to not have dust collect on the wood that I'm finishing. I'm finishing our cabinets. And so I can't have as much airflow as I'd like because it just introduces dust. And I don't want dust to have to deal with that. But the room I'm in is separate from it, but there's still a little bit of leaking when I open the door and go and do it and come back out. So I feel like I'm a little baked from it, but I don't really think so. So here we are. Here's what's going on. Here's what we've been doing. We have a base system, just a starting point for scripting. And what is that starting point? It's essentially we have a main resource called a story. We use A so that they throw up on the top here. And then inside of that, it has steps. It's just an array. We can increase the number to this array, and then we add sub-resources. And the sub-resources are these everything else. There's a story beat, a story camera, character, dialogue, music, sound effects. So the thinking here is that you add one of those sub-resources in, and then each of these things would happen consecutively. Is that the right word? So one after another. Is consecutively the wrong word? Sequentially. Consecutively would be together. Okay, so in this case, I have two resources that are camera resources. If we open them up here, let's take a look. Let's expand this a bit. I guess it doesn't really help. So for now, we're just using it to build our data structure for this and to write the scripting parser for it to make sure that we can get it working. Once we know that this is a sound way to do this, we'll proceed forward with a much better interface for editing these things. Likely a tool, if not a tool, custom scene that will be run inside of Godot in order to edit this stuff. But regardless, and that might actually be the best way to do it so that you actually have the scene loaded and then you can rewind and play it again kind of thing. So maybe actually I don't know. It might end up being an inspector tool with just like some custom interface stuff instead of showing this nasty parsing of resources the way that this thing works. Regardless, so we've got two camera resources here. The first one in 1 second, so you set the time that you want the thing to happen in this case. Some of the other steps, you don't. It's not time sensitive. So in 1 second, we're going to set the camera size to 10, and then after that, over a second, we'll set the size to 15. So we're zooming in and zooming back out. So if we run the game, we'll see that that's what happens. Let me do it again. It looks like it didn't show up fast enough for you. So run the game again, zoom in, zoom out. Okay. So that's the scripting. And then we could even add another camera. Can we duplicate? Doesn't look like it. Okay. Can we? Maybe we can. Copy property? No. Nah, can't. Okay. So we'll increase the array count. We'll add another camera beat here. And then we'll do a real slow zoom in. Over 10 seconds, we'll zoom in it to 10. So now we're going to zoom in, zoom out, and then slowly zoom in. All right. So it's just proof of concept that we can do this initially. All we're parsing right now is camera actions. Got some issues with the rotation. I think that I'm thinking about that incorrectly, so we're going to have to take a look at that as well. But that is what I was kind of kicking around yesterday. So I'm going to take a look here. Camera spatial. So we were doing spatial. Size. So that's the zoom is coming from that. But it's the spatial we want to rotate. So I was having problems with rotation yesterday. So let's get that working. So this is the this thing here. This is just starting out to be the script for it. These tabs over here are all the resources. This is just the thing that's parsing it, right? And I've considered that since I'm doing this, likely what I'll be doing is actually instantiating these resources and firing them off on, like say the button press related thing where somebody presses the button and it's like, okay, we need to rotate the camera. Well, we already have this thing that's doing all this, so let's go ahead and have the camera use this to do that, right? So that we have one place for camera rotation is being handled, and it's fired the same way everywhere. That's the thinking. So let's fix this issue that I was experiencing, because I think this was the problem. See if we can get rotation going on this. So we're going to set rotation on one of these steps here. This one. We'll go, because our initial camera angle is 45, negative 45. So we'll set it to 90. So we'll just rotate negative 90. And let's check the spatial again. That's all we need to do. So we'll save and run the game and see what happens. Okay, so it worked, but it kind of didn't at the same time. Let me check the set rotation degrees. So we're getting the camera rotation, and then we're just adding that step rotation to it. Oh, hang on. So first of all, we're adding a negative. It's just it still shouldn't snap, right? So that's part of our problem. And I'm wondering if we can do this with a property. So if we tween property, and the property we're tweening is rotation degrees, and we just say where we want it to go. Okay. Let's see if that works. There we go. Okay. So now we can script. See, why is VS Code being all picky? Stuff's annoying, man. Go back to debug here and we'll check out VS Code. See why. No titlemus. I don't know, man. Why do you care? What's the problem? Okay, so we see one problem with this. These two steps need to fire at the same time. They're both the same thing. We want them to tween at the same time. So let's look up our tweener stuff. So we want to kind of nip this in the bud and try to understand this quicker. Excuse me for the awful noises. The sequence. This behavior can be changed using parallel and set parallel. So what's parallel? Parallel. Tween parallel. So if we do this, seems awfully clunky syntax. Camera. Oh, see, it did it all at once. Okay, I'm learning some things. We should have a callback here. Tween callback, right? So we're gonna call back on self. So the last step here on tween will be tween callback. Tween callback. And what we're doing it on and what we're calling back. And then So we're going to call back on self. Self. We're just going to hit up this. And what is delay? We're not going to set any delay. Well, see, this is the problem. Set delay. Null instance. Okay, we bombed out. Can't append. Can't append to a scene tree that has started. So do we have to have the callback first before we do anything else? Can't append to a scene tree tween that has started. Okay, so I think I get it. So right now we know that we're doing everything in matters of 1 second. So if we set a delay the callback, attempting to call function set delay on null instance. Add function set delay on null instance. See, there's examples of callbacks here. What the hell's the problem? Let's create this tween at the beginning of all this. Okay, I think we got it. Now this is interesting. I think the orthogonal drawing in Godot is wrong. I don't know how else to say it. I think that it's actually incorrect. Okay, but we still saw, here's the problem. So we get these little steps, right? Now we're gonna set the, let's turn off the set delay, see what that does. Now that we've got this going right. Okay, so no delays going on. But we do have the callback, so now what happens if we do the parallel? Because we do want parallel to happen. So these ones will run together. Any of them in here will run in parallel. But will that affect the callback? No. Okay, so we got it. Awesome. So got a better understanding there of what's going on. So now we can have a rotate and a zoom at the same time. This is going to be critical to one of the other things that I want to get going here. Activating extensions. What is going on? That was weird. Activating extensions. What the hell? We're going to restart VS Code. It's acting very strange. There we go. Okay, so then on top of that, we should have a way. My body. Oh no, the chat. Sorry, chat. Sorry, chat. My excuse is that I'm sick. Let me catch up on what I missed. I really need Chatty to just load on startup so I don't forget about it. Let's see. Curious, are you building this system for you or mythical others? As if, also, if the latter, are these others intended to use Godot in these operations? Yes, the answer is yes to that. Mythical is not the right word. I think hypothetical. And yes, I could not hear you. Donaldi, how's it going? Cricket hasn't yet realized he cannot hear message alerts. Well, that's unfortunate. In unrelated news, I switched my side project from MySQL to MyraDB. It was way easier than expected. And immediately works better. I'm not familiar with Myra. Is it Myra? Myra. Myra. I gotta look that up. Or is it Maria or Myra? Wasn't either. Someone else suggested it in response to an issue I had in my. Okay, so why build this script system if these others are expected to? Well, they're not really. The point is so that they can just easily add the steps in, so that they don't have to know any coding. That's why. In theory, though, the way that I'm building it, they could easily create the steps elsewhere. The point is to be testing the idea of can I somehow parse a series of these, like in some place, and have a system for them to be able to easily create these steps. Right, but why give them an ID if they're not expected to learn it? Well, if you're here yesterday, I did go through the choices that I thought of, one being JSON. The point... Okay. I could easily switch this over to JSON. Well, they are going to be also like editing the levels and all that kind of stuff. And if I point them to it and I say, just run this scene and this is where you'll edit things, I don't think that's too hard for them to understand. I have confidence, especially given that my friends work in IT, that they'll be able to figure these things out. I believe in them that they could ask me questions when they have problems and I could help them. And I believe that if I were to give them, say, hey, JSON, do this in JSON, they would have equally the same kinds of questions that I would have to answer. But it's mainly so that we can have a way of scripting. Then this happens, then this happens, then this happens. So if you're using it just to create this in Godot, why not just trust they know how to use Godot's main mechanisms to build this? And are you talking about like animation player or something? Okay, so all right. So you're telling me all the whys nots. So tell me the how if I'm going to use Godot. I'm using Godot right now to do this. So you're saying, I feel like what you're saying is there's something in Godot that can do all this for me already. What is it? That's what I need to understand. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's see. We're working on. So we got the camera stuff done. So we have this simple beat thing, and the whole point of this is so that you can just add a pause. And beats, you can say pause for like 2 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds. Just seems like a lot of time to build a system that Godot editor can do. Editor can do. I don't know what you mean by editor. Do you mean like writing code to like right. Right. Well, yeah. Yes. And still even with that, yes. Okay. Let's think about what I'm doing. I'm creating a series of resources, right? So there's no reason why once I do all this work that I couldn't then say, hey, if you use this syntax to build this like list that I'm just using the resource tool in Godot to get this going, right? So then, yeah, I can point them to a method in code to say you can use these series of, creating these resources and with these, right. Yeah. I'm totally obfuscating, and it's totally intentional. So that because that's where I would say I don't think that I would want to ask them to have to learn how to do that. I don't want to have to tell my friends you also need to learn how to code. That's the barrier to entry to getting them help me make a game. So that's why I'm doing this. Does that make sense? But isn't that really the same thing? I'm answering your question with couldn't you do it in Godot by saying yes, with this way that I'm doing it, we could. But I'm also saying that that's not what I want to do because I would like for them to not have to learn how to code. Right. But for them, it's just a list. And then they just click this. And then they add another one. And then they click. And there's no coding involved with the way that I'm approaching this. I've never messed with the visual script stuff. I'd rather just know. I mean, the short answer is I'd rather just know that these are really the only actions that we would ever need for this whole thing. And so And otherwise, you never messed. And your others have never messed with your script. I'm not sure I follow. Um. So we need to add a name to this one. Let's see. It is unfortunate. I have found times that I would like to know the actual class name of something, and you just can't, Godot. At least not with a regular call. No, but it won't return the custom class name. It only returns the extends. It's in the docs. Yeah. Yeah. You've never messed with visual scripts, so you don't know if it'll work for your friends, but your friends have never used your script, so it's kind of the same thing. Except that I know my friends, dude. I don't know what else to tell you, dude. I know my friends, and I just know, I guess I could now start looking into visual scripting stuff. It's just, dude, I know my friends, okay? So, like, you're going to have to trust me. I know that I could just code all this stuff, but I also, even if I was making this game on my own, I promise you I would still do this for myself. And I know it seems like, why not just do it in code? And in a way I could, because these are all just resources, so it would be easy to code that, right? And then all I would have is a single place to parse it all. And then I just get the same behaviors out of everything. Because it's if you've ever played tactics style games, there's a very particular way that the beats happen in the game and everything. So there is another reason why I'm doing it this way, I personally feel. But I totally get it. But I don't have a game yet. That's right. Yeah, and you got to take the steps to make the game. Visual script. But no, you're not being a pain in the butt. I mean, those are very valid questions. Let's see. Oh man. See. Yeah, I just don't know. Yeah, I feel like this. Because what I'm trying to do is break down the problem into linear steps. Yeah, but yeah. Maybe I should. All right. Well. Okay, so we're gonna. Essentially, we're just gonna pause for a second here, but we don't want to use pause, right? Is pause? We don't want to use pause. We just need to set a timer and wait. So there's a way to do scene tree. Yeah, we can just yield. So yeah, we'll yield here for 3 seconds. Okay, so now let's see. We'll go back over to the game, and now we go here. I really do wish that these it would didn't just say generic term of resource. I have a class name, so show it. You know, that would be really nice. But we're gonna put the pause between these two camera moments here. See if we can get them to. So we're gonna do a 4-second pause, if this works. 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're dead in the water. Oops. Let's see. We'll do a breakpoint here. Just make sure we're even hitting this. I just feel like you'll be fighting your scripting language at the same time you're building your game and fighting its bugs. I mean, maybe. There's seriously only a few things that I need to do for this. I mean, I have pretty much all of them. You know, it just, I honestly can't think of another way to do this in a way that I would prefer this to be done in the first place. Like, if I show you one of the scenes, the way that everything happens, because I'm going to start playing the game. Playthrough. Mute it. Oh, they're just skipping all of the... Oh, they're going straight to gameplay for all of it. Well, that's not going to work. Here we go. Let's go through it. Start the game. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. All right, so... yeah, the beginning's not the best example. But we've got, like, you know, some dialogue here. And then the camera is going to whip around 180. There's an audio cue that plays. These guys walk in. This dialogue comes up. It just seems to me like doing this strictly in like each step. Because the benefit of this, so it'll be nice to be able to be like, oh, okay, well, I especially for, I mean, I totally get what you're saying, but regardless, okay, so regardless of that, right, I personally still feel like I would rather keep all of this stuff out of their way. I feel it can be done in Animation Player. I kind of feel like that too. Kinda. The dialogue stuff and all that. But I mean, the other thing is we're in between player dialogue boxes, so I might be able to do that in Animation Player as well. I mean, this is like yesterday in the stream I talked about like dozens of ways to approach the issue. And then this is the opening combat scene. But yeah, we've got characters moving to other things. So there's a lot of character direction going on. So I do feel like abstraction is actually here's a big camera direction. But yeah, I mean, Animation Player, if we can, I just don't know, like, with the dialogue and everything, how we would necessarily handle that with Animation Player. Um, but you know, the dialogue changes, then the camera goes back, does something else. Characters enter or exit the scene. Where you want the camera, right? And then the battle starts. Text you want to say and who says it, right? Where you want those dialogue boxes. Well, I think that'll be just handled automatically where the dialogue boxes are placed. That'll be done programmatically. For sure. Although I suppose, yeah, you might want to pick where they go. Isn't that what I'm doing? When in your mind am I coding the game? I don't. I have to start somewhere. But I'm trying to tackle the things that I think I need in order to I'm trying to do this right. It's starting to feel like that last time with why are you even doing this? It feels like we're going down that route again. Right. That's true. But for me, this is so critical to what the game is that I need this in order for the game to exist. I mean, even the in the battle stuff here, we have the camera direction is being provided by the AI. So I don't think that anything I'm doing will go to waste. And I'm just trying to work out like if I'm doing this, I'm just trying to work out the data structures and the format of how everything will look in order for this to happen. Whether or not I do it in the inspector or not, that's totally up for grabs. But I'm just proving this can work. So I'm not proving that I'm not proving myself wrong at all so far. But I mean, everything that I've done so far, I didn't think I could do until I tried to do it. Right? So I'm going in order of operations of like, okay, I don't think I can do this. Oh, I can. Okay, I don't think I can do this. Oh, I can. For me, I think in the end, when this is all said and done, the hardest part of it will ultimately be the RPG mechanics in terms of leveling and gear and all that stuff and balance. And then also just the AI stuff. I think the AI stuff is going to be the most challenging thing to tackle ultimately. But true, yes, I don't have a game yet. This is true. But okay. I have a friend who I want to write. He wants, he's shown interest in doing this and everything like that, right? I want to be able to give him something so he can start to do that while I build all these other systems. So for me, that's another reason why I've prioritized what I'm doing right now. I know that I don't have a playable game in the sense of anything else. I totally understand that. But I also was able to fabricate this together in 2 hours yesterday. So I'm not feeling like that I don't think that I'm making a mistake, because even if I decide not to go this route, I still have built the steps here to parse some sort of scripting method for the way that the story progresses in the game, so that like I still can walk away with something. And even if it's like, okay, well, it's got to be moved or something, it's all in a resource, so I can take that data and do something with it. It's not, it's not a waste. Yeah, I mean, there's parts of the game where there's just there's parts of a game there's just base dialogue and whatnot. And again, if we want to have what does the dialogue show up or below, that we could easily add as a resource for, you know, where is the dialogue? Is it above the character or below the character? Is it to the left or the right? Right. So that, I mean, that's something that I can still easily add as part of that resource, and it's not going to break anything. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just kind of watching. So again, the camera direction. This is automatic when the battle happens. Typically. But the other thing is then you have okay, there's a battle, but then also you have a condition for the initiation of more dialogue. Oftentimes it'll be defeat all enemies, but sometimes it'll be like rescue so and so or whatever. And when certain conditions are met, that initiates in the middle of the battle. That'll initiate more dialogue. Like once a character's health has fallen to a certain level or something, then another piece of dialogue will spit out, like this right here. And that's in the non-random encounters. But there's just so much direction here. I suppose these could be like. But the other thing to consider too is because of the dynamic nature of the game, where the characters are when they say what they need to say is going to be different based on what the AI decides to do. So by having it not be so, yeah. I'm happy with where I'm going with this. So I'll say that, and I'm just going to keep moving on it, and we'll see. But I absolutely appreciate the feedback. And it's likely, you know, it'll be like a month in, because I expect this to take a long-ass time. This is going to be a game that's going to take me, like, a long time to put together. Especially once we get to, like, I don't even know how, like, I'm still talking about, like, the animations and, like, how the hell are we going to do this, because this game has, you're looking at eight sides, so you could get by doing one, but there's actually, it's insane. So I've been thinking about that and like how to do that presentation and like some tricks that I might be able to do with that, where, you know, essentially you only need one portrait or 1/3 front facing and 1/3 rear facing, and then you can flip them, and now suddenly you have 4. But so not too bad, and it's also possible that we'll be able to render the characters in Blender and then do flat sprite exports out of that. But anyways, let's hit it up, because yeah, no, totally. The way that it could flow could be totally different. Because I mean, since these are all resources, you could theoretically just have it where they're just coding and they go, and maybe that's what we end up doing. But right now, I'm just testing the idea, right? So, but maybe they go var story. And then they say new, what would it be? A story, new, or whatever. And then they go story, step, append. And then they say they create a new, so if they go, and then we could do this on initializers. We could have the values be set on initializers. So it would be a story camera, new, and then we could have the parameters here. So time, size, all that stuff. So we could say, oh, in 1 second, you know, change the size to 10 or whatever. This is not going to work because we don't have the initializer. But so So it's still like, if I were to throw them into the code, it wouldn't be so bad. But it's also possible, since I'm just building a data structure, that yeah, I do send them to a JSON and say, here's the syntax that you follow, and you just plug it in there. But I keep them away from the code as much as possible. And I think maybe the reason why I'm thinking this way too is I do come from a web development background. And I have worked with systems where you want to expose parts of the system to people without technical knowledge. So, for instance, you want to be able to give your art department access to a really light scripting system to be able to build out their templates and stuff and put in some small amounts of logic into it, but nothing more than that. And also there's security reasons for the web why you kind of want to separate your front end from your back end stuff. But that's not really... But also, so the other thing I'm thinking is like all my problems then are in one spot. And so if we're just using this system for camera movements, player movements, a simple language parser. So what would that look like? Then you can create a flat text file with likes. Like, right. I mean, that works too. And that's totally I totally think that might be a really workable solution. Regardless of all that, all I'm really doing right now in my head is working out what do I need to be able to tell this system to do? What are the data? What does the data look like that I need? That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Once I have that understood and going, okay, this is doing what I want it to do, then yeah, totally I could see doing something like what you're talking about. Because I'm already noticing some patterns to some of the stuff that I'm doing where I'm like, oh, I hadn't considered that would be something that I would be thinking about. So it's definitely, I do see that possibly being where we end up. Because that I would love nothing more. Because that for the writer, that might make the most sense. Where it's just like really simple direction, where it's like camera, something, and then dialogue, and then the character name, and then whatever, right? Like that would probably be for somebody who's just going to be writing, but then wants to be able to see the end result of it. That probably is going to end up being close to like what this will become. Because I'm not saying, the other thing I'm trying not to say is that any of this is permanent or that I know that this is how it's going to be. Just that I'm trying to see, can I give it some things and have some other things happen? So yeah, I am intentionally trying to see, can I create a level of abstraction that I'm comfortable with? That's exactly what I'm trying to do. So this tween callback needs to go back over here. So let's get the breakpoint on this beat though here and figure out what's going on. But no, dude, I always appreciate the feedback, and I know sometimes it might sound like I'm coming off 1, 2, 3. So why is the yield? What am I doing wrong with yield here? And also we want to do this time, so it doesn't need to be a float. It could just be the breakpoint that's not working. 1, 2, 3. Let me check the... And the next step would be to zoom out, rotate. Okay. Curious. But yeah, I'm trying to. I mean, that is a big part of it. Is I'm trying to create something where I don't scare my friend away. But yeah, I would love to be able to, because for the story making side of this, yeah, I would love to have it just be literally a folder of scenes, and at any point in testing, we can just load that scene up and push play, and be like, okay, what is this looking like? And it's funny because we mentioned the animation player, but if I can actually expose the animation player in the testing, so that when we're playing the game, we have the animation player represented down here that takes, or something close to that, where there's like a scrubber, and we can just scrub through any given point and just see what's going on inside the game, like in a debug mode. Then that would be cool too. But anyways, I definitely appreciate the feedback, and I'm not like, if I'm coming back sounding a little passionate, it's mostly just because, like, yeah, I definitely, I have thought about animation player already. Again, I'm thinking about the people who are going to be doing this, and I really, having worked in IT as well, I want to reduce as many calls to the help desk as possible, if you know what I mean. Okay, so dialogue is the very last thing I care about right now. But we got this beat thing. What's going on with yield? One shot delay timer. So they're using a print function to see. Let's just see. Oh, I think I know what's going on. Because we're not. We'll see. I think I know what it is. Start. 1, 2, 3. Stop. And then nothing ever fires after that. What's the asset that I'm using as my ground? It's one of those, I'm testing the Ortho and Godot, and it's working as expected for me. Okay, let me show you the weirdness that I'm talking about. I think it's a rendering issue. It's not looking right when you're looking head on. So, okay, so we're in our, but I'm using exact cube, not one of Kenya's assets. Well, it should be a cube. See, that looks okay, right? Like this. But the minute that we're at any side angles, so orthogonal means that we should not have any vanishing points, right? But here alone, it's possible. You might be right. But here alone, I'm seeing angles coming in here and angles coming in. Maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe it's just because there's no textures. It's just tripping my brain out. I don't know. Once we get some textures in. But something about this doesn't seem right to me. Does it seem right to you? Because it doesn't seem right to me. Spawn in a mesh instance. Let's bring it up. And the mesh will be a cube. Seems to fit. Whoop. Right in there. Yeah. I think I'm just getting tripped out. I think once we get some textures in, we'll be okay. I think it's really just how orthogonal is, especially when you get towards the centers. Like when you're not looking at it at an angle. Right, but go head on. Yeah. I mean, it seems the same. So I think I'm just tripping out. Well, yeah, it does have. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like more of a like it's just that there's more like some differentiating. It should be, yeah. Let's see, camera. It's orthogonal perspective. What's fristum? One does not know. Anyways, let me go back to that pausing issue. We did have an error here, though. Maybe that'll be a hint as to what's going on. Swing, see? Okay, I think. Whoa, what happened? I think you missed my Marty McFly rant. Or my Back to the Future rant. But does it look strange when previewing through your camera? Let's see. Well, I don't want to mess around with that too much. Because we're right on. I mean, at the angle that it's at, it does not. Presently. I think it's just in my head. Or are you actually seeing it too? Are you seeing it too? Is that why you're asking me to do all this? Let me, why can't I? Am I viewing? Oh, I'm previewing. I see it in your stream, but not in my Godot. What the hell's going on? Is that the camera? Yeah. Bring her out. And we'll bring her up. And then we're going to need to rotate. So when I say, are you seeing it, I mean, does it look wrong to you as well? So let's preview this camera. Oh, we're not looking down enough. Ah! Does it need to be the other way? Is that my problem? Am I looking up at the sky? Oh, no. We're okay. So let's make the size 10 or 15 is what I've found. What? This looks fine. I don't know, though. Maybe not. It just feels like these are forking in. Is it because of the heights? Is that what's doing it for me? So Windows just decided to lose its USB stuff. So now I got to reset my camera. Because it's on crack. I don't know why that happened, but it did. Does that mean my audio's gone? Am I still good on audio? I'm good on audio. I think the editor's Windows orthogonal is a little different than the cameras. Yeah, okay. I agree. I don't know. Yeah, it's just a weird thing to open a... Like, I'd want to open a bug and be like, hey, does this look right to you guys? But then they'd be like, what do you... I don't know, dude. Like, what... Yeah, okay. I'm tripping out. I'm not tripping. Okay, so let's... So I think something about the yield here is causing us to... So I think we might actually need to do a legit timer. Could we tween... Oh, my door's locked. I'll be right back. My wife needs me. Hey guys, I'm sick too, like my papa. I just gave it to my papa actually. I just got some boogies in my nose. Say hi, Orion. Say hi. Want to say hi? Who's that right there? Who's that baby? Who's that baby? Lovely baby. No. Don't sing. Don't sing, Papa. Can you get a laugh for everybody? Can we get a laugh? You wanna fly up in the air? Fly. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh no. That didn't sound good. I don't know what happened. Oh, he just woke up. Oh, okay, well that's what happened. It's like, whoa, Dad, I just woke up. Chill with the throws. Sorry, I've got stain on my hands too. So I was trying to work fast and I didn't change my gloves. All right. For me, none of it. Right now, where I'm feeling how my body's feeling, whatever you pick is fine. What? Why not? Oh, well, no, I'm not saying I won't eat it. You asked me what sounds good. I just. Okay, well, it doesn't sound good because I'm sick, you know? Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think what's. Let me, Can we do some sort of. I guess we try and tween a pause. Is that possible? Or we just like wait? Pause. What is this? Pause is the tweening. That's not. So, can we just do? Since this isn't doing what we would like to do. Sorry. If you're going to tween a pause, then just connect the signal to the timer's timeout signal. Who's that lady? Well, if this is going to break out, could we do the callback on next step and have this? I've noticed yield is a lot more complicated than it seems. Yeah. Yeah, because sometimes it won't. Yeah, I agree. Oh, I agree. Set transition. Excuse me. Set delay. So this set delay just hasn't been working for me, but let's try set delay, and then what we'll do is we'll just pick our time here. Now, is set delay... And this is all going to change, no doubt. Let's try it. Okay, so that works. So this one never gets called because this is the next step. There's a delay on it. And then it calls the loop back. Right. Well, and having what I was experiencing is the yield would break the tween, the new tween system. I've been having problems with this new tweening stuff, personally. there's some kind of jankiness with it, and I also personally just don't like the I don't know. Something's weird about the. Would the word be markup for it? So what the yield? Why is the yield breaking the tween? Is it because yield does something specific? I'm sorry for the mouth noises. I really need a mute button because I would not want to hear what I just did on someone's stream. I probably just lost. Let me go. Watch. I'll just. When yield is called, your function actually exists, and all variables, and all created variables, actually exits. When it returns, the tween no longer exists. So if we did a yield where we passed, could we do something where we pass the tween over? Break on through to the other side. Could we, scene tree. You need to create the tween in the... Make it global. That's funny because that's what's actually breaking the callback is by creating it in here. Because when I do this, the callback stops working. Because it's complaining about the tween's already active. So maybe if I do this and I tell it to stop right here, maybe then would be okay. But does that mean I need to actually initiate a start? Let's see. Well, let's try this. Yeah, we'd actually need to do a start, which is kind of cool because that means we're sort of building it. Let's see if that works. Oh! Start. So there's no start. How do you... Okay, let's look up stop. Stop. Stops the tweening and resets the tween tree to its initial state. This will not remove any appended tweeners. Let's look up the word start. Is it play? Do they call it play? Paused play. They call it play. So... There we go. And set delay on null instance on a null. See, why does this pop up for the callback when it says it hasn't? Because it hasn't started. Use stop. That has started. So do we want to stop it every time we do? Make it a global. It is a global. Create a global tween in that function you're using. Yeah, I'm finding that as much as people felt like this was great, I'm finding that I'm sort of preferring the old way. Because I know what I'm getting with that more, because I've used it more, I guess. Tween interval. What is this? Creates and appends an interval tweener. Create delays in tweening animation. Oh, so there's actually an interval. So we can use tween interval. So maybe this will get us around that problem. Oh yeah, totally. I think that's what it is. But that's where I'm like, I just want to go. I just want to screw it. Like, I don't even want to. So let's try that. We'll use tween interval for a timeout. Let's get rid of all this stuff. It's the callback. Stop. Play. So I don't know. Let's see. Okay, so we got an error. Tween interval, can append to a scene tree that has started. Use stop. So we stop it. We do all this stuff. And we play. How about that? Nothing's happening after that. Is the callback not happening? It's not calling back. Oh, I don't have the breakpoint on here. Sorry, I'm running from the wrong Tween callback. Here's our callback. Let's see, is this in seconds? Time length is the length of the interval in seconds. Tween interval. So why are we doing this? Okay. So let's make sure we're hitting it. There it is. We'll do a break in the camera. Let's print this out. Let's just double check beat. It is using time. And is called time. Ah, integer. Is that our issue? Because we need a float. I do prefer to give them ints, so we'll cast it as a float. I cast float. Magic missile. Magic missile. Nope. All right, let's get rid of beat for just get it out of the equation and make sure the two camera movements are still happening. They're not. So we're not getting. Oh, we are in slow motion. So that's because we have it at Y. Why is that happening? Okay, so something ain't right here. Stop. Play. What was that about? The fudge? All this stuff. All this stuff. Tell you what. There we go. So now let's try the beat with this system. So we'll say beat, and we'll do 2 seconds. 1, 2. Let's put it in the front, so it's the first thing that happens. So we just 2 seconds, nothing's gonna happen. 1, 2. Okay, cool. So yeah, just doing a new tween with this callback loop is seems to be flushing it out. Say I'll go in order, right? So now let's move the beat in between the two. So we'll have 2 second beat between camera movements. Zoom in, 1, 2, rotate. All right, so beat is good, and we're getting a better understanding about tweens. All scene tree tweens will automatically start by default. That much I got. By default, automatically start. See, that's the question: is how does it know? Like, I guess it's just as it's being built, it goes, oh, okay, here's another part of the tween and another one. It just builds a stack up that way or something. It's just like a weird thing to think about being done without you saying start. You know? Like, okay, I built all this out, now go. So anyways, so we got beats kind of figured out. So camera we're good with now. Beat we're good with now. So there was one other resource that I was thinking about, and that is that every once in a while we're going to need multiple things to happen in parallel. So we could just create another resource and call it something like parallel, and it just has a bunch of steps inside of it. And whatever you add into those steps, they'll fire at the same time. So that's one way to do it. Because you might want to have 4 characters start to surround another character. And you need a way to do that. So music, pretty straightforward. I suppose questions about whether or not we're going to do we just use a string for like a track name or something? Not sure. Same with sound effects. Not sure about that. Yes. What do you got? Suggestion for musics. Make it a singleton and have your resource called a singleton. Is that for so when you say singleton, do you mean just like if we were to have, say, whatever the audio stuff is called, I can't even remember off the top of my head. Man, I'm so tired. Should I just take a nap on stream? Is that something people like? ASMR nap. Audio stream player. Yeah. So, I was considering. Yeah, for music we would just do straight up audio stream player for music for sure. We're not doing anything like, as far as we know, presently, the music is just going to be blasting as if from the voice of God, the archangels singing, coming from all directions, that kind of thing. It's not gonna be like, oh, we're gonna have a little radio in the corner of the scene. Who knows though? That radio is gonna have music playing. It's possible. So I've been playing that Mars Colony game that I was talking about. Surviving Mars. That's what it's called. And there's radio stations in it, and it's all really interesting because it's sort of they call it, what do they call it? You know, it would be like when the story of a game is told through the environment. So environmental storytelling. There we go. So the radio stations have this element of like sort of letting you know what things are like on Earth, but you're not quite sure if it's like propagandic. But I was thinking it would be funny to have like the Alex Jones equivalent. Create an SFX and sound effects audio bus at minimum. All right, let's get that party started. So yeah, everything's sort of a mess what I'm doing right now. I'm not ashamed to admit that. Make sure your audio stream player is. So here's my thing. I make a folder called game. And this is where I put the biggins. Most specifically the elements of a lot of the stuff that I reuse. So singletons and like the classes, like my finite state machine, and those kinds of things that I need, the objects that I need to, that are disparate from everything else's. Correct bus. Interesting. I wonder if that's why my game Hexacore is having an audio issue, but only with the web version of the game, where there's some clicking issues that happen, some stuttering kind of sound. So we'll do new script. Now, should we just do the singletons? No, singletons have to be nodes, don't they? So we'll just call it music player. Singleton, just call it music. Yeah, they gotta be nodes. And class name is gonna be music. Pretty broad. I don't think that's a reserved word. And then we'll go into project settings and we'll auto load our singleton here. And yeah, so there's that. Okay. Now, don't give it a class name? I thought you had to give it a class name. What am I thinking of? Luckily, the editor instantly started yelling at me anyways. The class music conflicts with an autoload singleton of the same name. Is therefore redundant. All right, so it's yelling at me just like you are. Don't do that. Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh man. They're created automatically. So if I were to look in the project file, I'd see it in there. Like if I go there right now, I'd see it. Let's just show everybody what we mean here. If we look here now, got all of our resources, And then here's our auto loads, and there's music. So, makes sense. Okay. So, we need to put this audio stuff, because it's basically like a resource, right? So, is it audio bus layout? Is that what we're going to do? No. Because the thing that I'm wondering is, so if we do this, create an SFX and music audio bus at minimum. Okay, so we'll make a bus. And so we're making 2 buses, right? In the middle of a scene. Bottom middle. Oh, so every bus. So what do we mean by bus? These are like lanes in a freeway, right? And by doing this, we can do things like in the menu, we could have a slider for the sound effects volume and the music volume being separate. Right. Yes, there is a master bus as well, so we can have the master volume. It's all built in. This shit's dope. By the way, I'm probably gonna ask you at some point I think you've got the code out there, but that stuff you were working on with the remappings stuff is good. That's some good stuff. Oh crap, you know what we need to do? We need to create a repository. Schultz, what are you doing? Not committing any code. Oh, by the way, Obsidian, I've been trying out Obsidian. I'm moving some of my OneNote projects over to Obsidian. And I gotta say, so far, I have no complaints. It supports plugins even. What? Yeah, I'm not I don't really have any complaints about the editor or anything like that. I'm familiar with Markdown, so actually, and I kind of prefer Markdown syntax. It's just really flat and it's not crazy, you know. It makes a lot of sense. You're limited, but I feel like that's actually a good thing. Especially for a tool like this, it's really elegant solution to the problem of like, you know, having a digital notebook, basically. At least that's how I see it. Okay, so we have these buses. So now, is this something that when we set up the audio player... Let's see. So sound effects for sure. We're gonna do some fancy 3D stuff with it. But for the that input menu, it's janky. I want to rewrite it eventually. Okay. Yeah. I do think that, I don't know. I think that some sort of scripting thing is not a bad idea for having something for... Why am I in private mode? Why am I going to YouTube? What is going on here? Must have hit something. Okay. All right. That's good. I'm trying to get this working. I want a base progress bar to show up on the screen here of the whenever I'm working on any project. On the stream to show like progress. I'd like to be able to do that. I just haven't looked into it too hard yet. Like what's a good way to do it? So I was looking into Obsidian and see if there's something like this. And I was hoping that there's a way to render the Obsidian, like, if I could get a URL to one of these pages, for instance, and then have that in the stream somehow. Occasionally be able to reference it that way. Sorry for the mouth noises. Okay, so let's go over here. Sorry, I was looking up audio stream player. Let's look up the word bus. String bus. The bus on which this audio is playing. Okay, so if we have a singleton here called music, then we have the audio. I don't know what to call it. Audio stream. Why is that a reserved word? Oh, it's seeing it as. We'll just call it audio if that's not taken. No, it's just a property. It's like a project settings. Okay. We want to set the bus. Can we do that on instantiation? Probably not. Oh, we don't need to. It's a node. You're right. So do we not even? It's so funny how my brain just like shuts down with this stuff. We still use new though, right? So we're going to set the bus over to. This is where instance. We don't use new. I don't. What's the difference? I know there's a difference, but what is it? You know, something else I've discovered is using references. Because references. You've already done a bunch of this, huh? Oh my God, you've got a bunch of things. Yeah, enumerator is for sure gonna. What is this onReady var? Don't just. Well, I was just gonna get going on my own thing. Get node. So you have it in a scene. onReady variables. Well, let me I mean, we do need to for now. How do you do a const? Is it bus? Can we do it like that? Can. That example plays SFX as well. I since learned that's not the best way. Do you mean having a separate bus for it? SFX should be more localized to the node using it. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I wasn't imagining. So when I'm saying SFX, what I'm imagining is more like the rabble of a crowd or something, that would be something we would script, but not like, oh, the person's throwing a punch and we need that contact sound or something. But it like, or the sounds of flames, you know, much more. So I guess background SFX would be the more accurate, like ambience or something. Well, okay, so music. So you do Ready Void? Music is fine. Especially when you want to get fancy, like creating special SFX buses that have effects added to them, like Dank Dungeon Ambient SFX bus. Dank Dungeon. Is that something you did? The hell is Dank Dungeon? I'm not familiar with this. The building game. Yeah, that I do remember there being a lot of ambience. Generally, you'd send to favor a lot of ambience. Actually, in the games that I've played, you have a lot of ambient sounds, which I think is really smart. Oh, I gotcha. You like how I took it extremely literally? Just as of a feeling. I gotcha. So like, yeah. And when the bats go, it sounds like there's a bazillion bats. Okay, so you add. This is good stuff to know. This is real good stuff. Yeah. Yeah, because you're adding to the bus, but it alters the effects. Gotcha. Add effect. Low pass filter. Oh my gosh, dude! I used to do like techno and stuff. Holy crap! You could do. Oh my gosh, this is all like. You could do some funny stuff here. That's funny. What is this down here? Are they chained together? They are chained together. Okay. Okay. Is it bad to have a lot of buses? Because now suddenly I'm thinking about. Right. Yeah. Adds effect to just that new bus. Right. Yeah, I mean, this is cool because add effect, if you do like a. I think it would be a high pass filter, right? But you could say, I want the sounds to sound like it's behind a wall. It's either low pass or the high pass filter that you could add to that. So based on the location of something, you could chain in something called like behind wall. I don't know. And then you'd have a, I don't know if it would be the high pass, low pass, I can't remember, but you would like clamp that down so that it muffles the higher sounds, and you only get the low sounds going through. So you could get like some conversation happening on the other side of a wall or something. Can't set up buses at runtime. Wow. Okay. So it's almost like you kind of need. It's kind of like you would need to set up, like if you want to get really complicated, you would need like a. Just sort of like a collection of them that you could talk to at any given moment. Because I'm guessing you can at least change their effects or all that kind of stuff. Because if you can change the volume, what is this? Oh. Oh, so my friend just sent me something he wasn't supposed to send me. I think. Yeah. You can play a audio streams player bus dynamically. Dank Dungeon. I like that we did a search and found something like that. Damn, you override. Oh, these aren't. Okay. So it's stream. All right. So you made a music player. In like I'm guessing that this is for some sort of like music player thing, right? Or is this you're just being so explicit about the naming here that by passing a song name, right. So that's what I'm trying to think. That's what I'm wondering about is like the structure of. It also keeps track. It keeps track of the loaded stream object for that song. This way, you don't have to load all the music at once. So stream. The audio stream object to be played. Do you have to go soon? No. Okay, so we just need a track to play. So let's go to we're gonna go to my YouTube. And let's get something from they've got in the studio stuff. Have you watched any of those Acerola videos? Let's find something. So I believe this should get us. No, we don't want to. I don't want YouTube's. Ace Rolla. He's a YouTuber I mentioned. Does search for battle. And then we'll do genre will be classical. There we go. That should be our battle music right there. So this is a guy that I use. He did the music that I'm using in Hexacore. So he kind of goes all over the place. He just copies a lot of them. So we could use this one for now. Ride of the Valkyries. But we'll do the drums of the deep. So but we got a credit if we're gonna do that. So let's just Battle Hymn of the Republic. I like this one. We'll do the United States Marine the Corps band. Let's download this. Godot. Even Godot's like, I'm not playing that crap. Alright, I'll stop the music. Alright. I don't know why it's cracking me up so much. So that, I mean, it's really that simple, audio bus. And I mean, we could just say, we could just translate, kind of like what you're doing. We could just translate a flat name to handle the stream and all that stuff, right? So, so if we took a function and we called it play, and it took a string name, call it song name is a string. I'm gonna start Obsidian coding here. We can't assign a type to this, unfortunately. Can I? I don't see why I would need to, but could I do this? It's not complaining. Not added to the actual stream yet. Yeah, so we got to add child. So where is it going to end up when I add child, though? Ooh, child. All right, so there's that. Then we need to translate the name of the song. So we definitely don't want to have complicated names for the music. So we have the Triumphal March of the United States Marine Corps Band. Hoorah! So we're going to go ahead and say... we'll just use Snake Case. Is it Snake Case? Is that what it's called? Not Camel Case? I forget. What is going on? Godot, what are you doing to me, bro? Why are you crashing all the time now? You never do this. Don't turn into Unity. Don't do it. They made this file default bus layout with everything I was doing. But I discovered that it does now. Because I was looking into that myself, because I thought so too. I remember dealing with that. There's audio stream MP3. Obviously, it must be something new. It'd be nice if they had like a thing you could like get the history of when this came in the docs. Yeah. Yeah, I remember, you know, it was like what, 4 months ago this didn't exist. Okay, so we'll go back here. So audio stream, but this is the weird thing is audio stream MP3, but then we have straight audio stream. So it's just an inherited thing. So if we give it an audio stream MP3, it should be okay. But right now we're just testing this. So so in this case, it's not something I need to add to. Okay, so it would be audio stream equals something, right? That's not what we're going to do, but ultimately what we're heading towards. Then we need to get the name of the song and check and see if it exists in the file system. Oh, I did not know that. Because it'll load it as the resource. Okay. And I presume if we use load, is load a GDScript specific thing? Let's go up. Yes, loads a resource. Okay. So is it going to return an... what does it return if it doesn't get one? Path must be absolute. Loads a resource from the file center. Blah, 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 blah. Or use preload. Method simple. Simplified version of resource loader load. So returns an okay, so we'll presume that it could be empty. Let's try to load something that doesn't exist just for fun. Var song equals load song name. And then we'll pass that into the stream. Do we need to play? Set stream. Autoplay. There's the play. So maybe... Is it really just like this? This is... I love how your code's this graceful thing, and I'm just like, Dad, do this song, play it. That was... I shouldn't have... Gonna get canceled. No. So if song... Okay. So if there is a song, do this stuff. Otherwise, maybe we should return... maybe we should return something in the meantime. But we need to give ourselves a name here. So we're going to go var name equals music. The nice thing here is that name is not a reserved word for a resource, because a resource had nothing to do with any of that other stuff. So I'm using name. I could use name anyways, even if it had name. You know what I'm saying? All right, so, but we're using that because we can't get class name specifically, which I think is really frustrating. It's just like, anyways. So right now, if we were to add music, we just got this test node. Again, all this is temporary. Music. Right now, there's nothing there, right? Yeah, there's nothing there. It's just saying resource. Which I suppose that's another way we could do it, right? Because we could just say here, and then literally you could go and load the actual resource in here. Now, I wonder if we did something this way, would we have the benefit of this being preloaded, as it were? One wonders. Don't know. If we were to use get class in a custom class, you can define... Yeah. You can override it that way. Okay, so that's probably what we should do then. So... Okay. Now, I believe that since... now, I could be crazy, but I believe that since we're asking for a particular type of resource, I believe you can be explicit about the type and suddenly get a much smaller list here. So if we say audio stream, like we could say audio stream MP3, can we do that? Let's do audio stream MP3. I know there's a way to be built-in types. You can So can I just do this then? And then say, let's close this out. I think we might need to either close and reopen Godot or the scene. And let's add. But yeah, so built-in types. It sucks that you can't do that for... see? That's great, because now we can't go and, like, if we do this, is it going to be mad at us? Yeah, it will be mad at us. That's great. Here we are. Okay, I won't. But you got what I'm saying. You hip to that jive. Okay, so we do the same thing with SFX. Var name is SFX. I don't know. The world would die. Would cease to exist. On the one hand, from the shock and awe, she'd simply pass out. On the other, it would cause a paradox so enormous that it could mean the end of the universe. Although the effects could be highly localized and only cause our galaxy to localize to just our galaxy. Ah, fair point, good sir. It is set to loop. All right. So now we got this music thing. And I suppose what we need to do is test and see if we have music. So if current step music, can we do is audio stream? Can we test the type that way? So if it is audio stream, now we need to go over to our music and change this a bit. Because now we can say audio stream. And we can just straight up go song audio stream. And since this is a required field anyways, I guess we don't need to do the test for it. So this is getting, this is like shrinking down. Okay, so then we just say music dot play this audio stream. Do not loop, I think. That makes sense because waves are typically used for like sound effects, right? Something about waves being not needing to like you can get waves faster because they're not compressed, right? Tis true, tis true. Let's just see if it works. So we've got our music. We'll put it in step 1 or 0. Blah. Non-existent function instance in base class music line 4. Instance. Am I getting too fancy? Non-existent function instance. Let's try new. It works. It's so stupid. Okay. So it works. So I guess it is new. So yeah, we could, like you're saying, I mean, literally could just throw it into, in here. However, I do think having it outside of this is probably best. And having it in the singleton is probably best. Because overall, we're still going to need something outside of this system to override it if we need to. And so I think having it up in the singleton is the way to go. Because then we can do, then we can have the stop get called when some you know, the dad of the process goes, no. We got to stop it. Whatever's playing, stop it. Like like the player is paused, you know, I don't know. Or we want to fade it out or whatever. Like we want to I don't know. So that would probably work better in the Okay, so so let's I just want to try changing the order just to make sure that so we'll do all the rotations and stuff and then start the music. Okay. All right. Well, cool. So, yes, sweetie. I don't know, sweetie. Um, so what if? So this currently is just like, hey, yeah, play. But how do we tell it to stop? One possibility is to just simply create another music track. It's an awful game, Gemma. It's an awful game. And then what we could do is simply, oh, this is nice. We could simply not have anything in here, and so, if current step is audio stream, else music stop. Alternatively, stop. Let's see. Okay, so that works. You can test. You cannot test the audio stream, and if null is passed to play, it stops whatever it's playing. So, So, would that work on my initial text here for audio stream? Um, so, I think because we're doing this here, the play call will never get called on an empty one, but let's see. Yeah. So would you do the null test? So if song equals null, stop, else stream song. Oh, and then you hit play no matter what. Okay. Not that one. So just remove this because we don't even need to test. That's what you're saying. Right. All right. So the same effect. I mean, we could flip this too. I feel like we should flip it. So if there is a song, then we do this. Otherwise, we stop it. But is there a better reason to do the not? Because there might be. Okay. Is there a better reason to do the not? Is that what you're saying yes to? Okay, so we can stop the music. No, 6.5 doesn't either. Alright, so we'll do another camera thing here and we'll I don't know what this is gonna do. We'll see. This will be interesting. So the music's gonna stop and then the camera should go. Oh! Okay. Well, for you too. Alright, so we've got... Let's think about our list of things that we were trying to get going here. What I'm calling story editor, I put into a thing called story editor. So our actions so far that we've done is we have a beat, a camera, music. SFX probably follow the same steps. Now, and it really should be like maybe called ambience. Dialogue and character have to wait. This is where we actually have to start making the game-ish part of the game. So the way that I was imagining it is you would declare inside this initial resource, or whatever we want to call it, however it would even be, like if we were to, you know, if we were writing it out in like a scripting, like a light scripting language, there'd be like an initial declaration or header or something, and you'd say characters, and then you'd list their names. Like, you know, it'd be like, oh, so and so, and then so and so, something like that. I don't know. Maybe JSON. I don't know. I mean, JSON's not too bad. So I mean, we could use JSON and just have a set, you know, because we can already parse JSON. Jason. Oh, that's one we should have for the if you're using a resource, you can just export an array that's looking for node path objects. Okay. JSON. We need to find that clip for what was the game called? Jason Mall. Heavy Rain. So we could just have a bunch of random Jasons.
That'll be $2.
Here it is.
I'll be right back. Jason! Jason! Jason!
Oh, he's not supposed to be there. That's funny.
Jason!
Okay, we got to get a clip of Jason. All right, we need that whenever we're talking about JSON. We can JSON. But just I know some people say all right. Anyways, okay, so let's get back to what we were doing. We'll close out music because I feel like for now that's good enough. So how do we handle I think the characters might be one of the few times that I use inheritance of a custom, like my own class. But I think this is also a good stopping point for now. SoundFX is going to follow the same kind of thinking here as we're doing for music. This probably could become I mean, we're never going to have more than one track playing at a given moment. So when we switch songs, like the other thing we're going to probably want to do is keep track of the resource that we're currently playing, and we can check it against and go, okay, is something different about this one? Is it the same one? That kind of thing. So if it somehow is like, hey, play this song, and it's already playing, otherwise maybe it fades out. Right. And that's why, what you're saying about, I would keep it on the node side. I totally agree with. And so that's where I'm thinking it may be that with character, for instance, we have something where it's like character action. The characters have their own like subset of things they can do, like cheer or punch or pull out a sword or whatever it is. And that action then explicitly calls on the node to go, hey, do this thing, and then it goes and says, okay, it's a function and it plays the sounds, it does the animations, it does all that stuff automatically. But I'm gonna take a serious look at JSON. And see. I mean, it's just a bunch of key value pairs, right? I mean, it's not anything else. You can do arrays. So could we use this as the scripting? If we could parse the JSON, if we could find a way to just harness that power. So we do have there's the default parse. Key value pairs that you nest, indeed, good sir. JSON. So there's a base parse here. Parse result. What is parse result? So this will just check the JSON for us automatically. That's pretty dope. JSON. But then we need to write a custom thing that goes, hey, I'm not expecting this thing here, period, and it returns some sort of error. So we would need to iterate on the JSON. What we get back. Variant result. Parse JSON. JSON. Okay. That's true. But I would like to yell at my friends. Be like, yo, this ain't supposed to be here. What is this? Or at least give a warning. Yeah, I think what I'll do as a project tonight is just sit watching some Buffy with my wife. I don't know. JSON. I do think, though, I really liked the basic idea that you were doing that is kind of reminiscent of let me open it up here so the chat's not overriding it. Of doing almost like the markup that you're doing was very reminiscent of assembly, but you have like capitalize like music, and then you can do the name of it. Although since we're doing this, yeah, there's a lot of things we can do. Anyways, music, camera, and then it would be just almost like functions without, you know, parentheticals or anything. So time. Yeah, so something simple like that. Because then I could have just like basically what I'm writing. I don't know. I'm gonna mess around with some thinking about all that. Do you think it would be better to do if we were to write have something custom in terms of what happened to my chatter thing? Chatty's really annoying. It doesn't. Gotta let it go, Gemma. If it's not making you happy, stop playing it, okay? They're turtles in Back to the Future. That NES game is not Back to the Future. Oh, what I was going to ask, though, is... because you had mentioned... Let me go back up. Yeah, maybe. Well, so far in my mind, everything is linear. At least initially, I mean, the only thing I can think of is the desire to have multiple things happening all at once. That's where I'm a little concerned. But it really is going to be, okay, the camera does this. Okay, this character moves here. Right. So that's right. So that's where I guess exactly, right. So I'm not disagreeing, dude. I'm agreeing. So but so yeah, so linear for the most part, but yeah, I would like it to be something where and that's where I'll try and tackle it. Yeah, no, I get it, but I also think that complexity would, if we were doing it in code, it would be there too. But I really do need to be able to set this up where I'm not right. Okay. You're not gonna kill my positive attitude, Obsidian. It's not gonna happen. No, I know. I know. But the code will kill my positive attitude. You won't. Hello, decent. How's it going? Should I get going? Should I do like burgers or something today? Oh, okay. I think I got to stay out of this room. This room's making me. I feel like I'm baked. I can barely keep my eyes open. Look at me right now. I look a little. I'm looking a little. But I feel like building a tool like this one is only really needed if you intend to expose it in the finished game. I could. Let's make a campaign editor. So I'll show Hello Decent's Hello Decent. Here's what we got going on. Let me run it. So, I know that seems strange what you just saw, but what we got is camera steps happening. We got a pause going on, got another camera step going, and then of course the music track is playing, so we can do that and then stop it as well. I suppose at this point, my daughter's in the back. Hang on, I gotta show you. Zoom in. There she is. She's playing Back to the Future on the NES right now, and it's getting her very upset because it's an awful game. It's just plain awful. Another bike ride. We're gonna. It's very upsetting. All right, let me get back to it. Now I'm super bright. What is it, Lord? Oh man, even Lion King on the Super NES was awful. It's not even Back to the Future. It's got like spiked turtles and stuff in it. Like the game has the logo on the bottom just to like make it feel like you bought a game that's for Back to the Future. Like the kids, so the kids like, "Mom, this isn't Back to the Future," and they're like, "What are you talking about? It says it on the bottom there." Like half of the game is dedicated to displaying the Back to the Future font. All right. Well, okay. So, yeah, that is the last thing for me. The last thing that I would need to figure out is yes, we need to do stuff in parallel. And so let me think about that. We're gonna add another action. It's gonna be another resource. Yeah, I mean I'm high as a kite from coding the cabinets, so I'm sure that I'll be able to play the most complicated Jurassic Park game of all time, according to all the reviews. One person claiming you needed a PhD in order to play it. I'm sure that'll go good. No. But yeah, we can do that. That sounds good. Actions. Parallel? Is it, what's that singer guy's name? How do you spell parallel? See, I can't even spell. I'm going to blame that on my being totally baked. I'm not actually baked. It feels like I am. Parallelogram? We watched the video. Well, I suppose if everything goes wrong, it'll be just a perfect parallel to the movies. Is it Ferrell? Is it like Will Ferrell? Is that how you say it? I don't even know how to say it. I've seen it written so many times. I don't know how to say it. Man, I had my favorite peoples and stuff. I never knew how to say their names. Because I would never hear, like, you remember being young and just never knowing anything about how anything worked and having no way of being able to look anything up? Like, it was like literally you got lucky. It's like in a magazine and it would mention something and you're like, oh my God, this is the thing I love and it's telling me how it works. Ferrell? Furl? Like furry? So parallel is just a series of steps. Another set of steps that just runs in parallel. So we'll give it a class name. A story. Let's try this parallel crap. See if we can't figure this out. Right quick. Class name, a story parallel. I guess we could call it parallel steps. Export. Array. Var steps. And I mean, we could say parallel steps. So, it's an array of resources. Okay. So then, do we need to? Thanks, Obsidian. I always appreciate the feedback. I'm a stubborn mule. Let's try closing and reopening. We're not gonna save and close. We're gonna save. You going for a ride, man? How many miles are you doing today? Hella decent. I don't see it, so we do got to reload the project. Probably like 20. Damn! How far did I go? How far did in the mornings? Because I used to bike to work when I was in Cali. How far was our house from the bank? Oh, it was only a mile and a half. But that hill, that incline, holy smokes. Yeah, there was this giant hill. That was the thing. I was crazy about it to even do it. Because going, so if I was doing that every weekday, 5 days a week, I wonder how many miles I got in. I wasn't tracking it at all. Yeah. 365, 52 days in a week. 5 days in a week. So 250, 230. No, 5 times 5 is 25 times the 2. That gets you 260 times 2. So 520 maybe in a year I did at one point. But did we reload? Yeah. Okay, so we got parallel. And it's an array of resources. So then we'll add a parallel. What? Can I do anything in parallel yet? Because all I got right now is camera, beats, and music. Nothing. So let's see. We could do. Let's just do something with dialogue. And we'll just display something on the scene. For now. So if we're dialogue, so we got to give ourselves name equals dialogue. For now. We can add, we'll just make a generic dialogue scene real quick. So we'll do a new scene. We'll call it dialogue. And currency is a node. I don't know. It's a 2D scene with a La Bleu. Ah, yes. I love la blues. I am French. This is my la bleu. Come, let's fly away on the island of la bleu. I think I'm losing it. La bleu. No. No, not la bleu. Let's make it Botun. We are Botun, not a la bleu. How dare you call me la bleu? I am a Botun. All right, so we got this scene here. We call it dialogue. We're gonna go and attach a scene. Well, no, you know what? Let's get real easy about this. We're gonna make you the parents. Make scene roots. There we go. Get rid of this. Ah, there we go. Okay, so then we have the dicks. So then we go and add. We're gonna instance. At the Baú. That's my accent. I think he's lost it. Is this la bleu? But no, if it is just straight up in the sky, then we cannot move it easily. This is a problem. Is this a problem? Are you having an issue? Ah, we can change our rect. Okay, so we have a la bleu. We have a scene for our la bleu. Now what we do when it is dialogue, just for a test, we say dialogue scene, and we preload. Now again, this is all just a test for what we are trying to do. My accent is all over the place. I gotta stop. I'm gonna offend somebody. La bleu. Dialogue. Copy path. La bleu. Oh, I thought of another thing I needed hella decent. I need a good, like, random set of Jason from, I gotta get those going from Heavy Rain. So that anytime I'm talking about Jason, I can have Jason play. Jason! La bleue. I see. There is a la bleue. Uh-huh. Jason! Alright, man. Have a good one. Sorry I've been annoying right now. So if it is a dialogue, we're going to go and say instance, because we preloaded. Create an instance of the dialogue scene. And then we're going to set the text. C'est la bleue. Is it text? Yes. So we say dialogue scene text equals current step text. Done. But there is a problem. But first, let's see if this works. There is a problem with this. You know, being annoying. Jason! Sorry, I'm in a room that's got a lot of vapors from the staining of the... Oh, you gotta go. I wish I could show you really quick. Let me show you really quick. I'll be right back. Well, you're going. But I'll come back. If you're gone, you're already gone. All right, don't worry about it. But I'm gonna show everybody my I stained some cabinets. I'll just show you one of the doors. It doesn't really matter. This is what we got. Is it going to show up okay? Pretty bright over here. All the flaws are shown. This is what I stained. We got the coats on it. It's coming along. Luckily, this stain. I mean, the staining part was easy. That was like one day. But it's been the coats, the finishing stuff on it that's been taking a while. So we're gonna do a dialogue. We're gonna instance the scene, set the text, and then we're gonna add the child to the scene. So what I'm doing here is we're just gonna check for parallel. Add child. Dialogue scene, and then we'll just get rid of parallel because we're not programming that yet, but we'll add dialogue, and the dialogue will be hello world traditional. Blah. Invalid set index text on base packed string. Packed scene. Instance. Dialogue scene. Instance. Oh, we need to take the instance and put it in. Var dialogue instance equals that. And then we say this. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so hello world. So now we can use this to test the parallel stuff. But first what we need to do is we just need to choose a random rect point for it to show up in. We could do a range. So let's look up dialogue uses control. So if we go to control, rect position, the vec2. So we can just set rect position. And we can say, we're actually going to need to do random. So randomize, just for now. Again, this is just to test the idea. Rect position is going to be a vec2 with a random integer. And it'll be % 100 and a random integer % 100. Let's just make it like 4 or 5. There we go. So now it should show up on a random spot on the scene. Okay, so there it is. So now that we have that, now we can check and see if we can code some parallel stuff. So how are we doing that? Well, my friends, we have parallel scene thingy. So what we're going to do is add a new scene thingy here. We're going to choose parallel. And then inside this is an array of resources. We're going to increase the size here to, let's say, 4. We'll add 4 pieces of dialogue to pop up randomly. Let's say. And then those pieces of dialogue will say something. And then we'll see how we get these all to fire at the same time. What say ye, audience of mine? That sounds good, guys. Okay. So, rabble. We need more tacos. What he said. Where's my car? Rumble. Scrabble. So this guy doesn't know what's up. He's just saying, he thought somebody said Scrabble. So Scrabble, Rabble. Okay, so now we've got that in place. So now let's look at our parallel here. Parallel steps, and we're going to say var name equals parallel. Parallel, you say? Yes. So, parallel. The bane of our existence. Well, we might have to break some things out here. I.e. this next step thing. This whole match thing should probably be its own thing. Let's think about this. What we should be doing is we could have something called play step. And then this kind of loop thing that's happening, you can handle it with a signal. We're also doing a test on size. Okay. Give me just a second, Trish. I'll be there. I'm just trying to do something extremely complicated right at the end here. So we have a callback. So really we need to... Okay, so let's think about this. We should call this play step. And we should give it the step to play. And then we don't need to, there's a lot of stuff we don't need to do. So current step. Right, so then we don't do this. And the other thing is if we don't do the test. Okay. So then we take all this and we bring it down. Okay, so how do we make this loop happen then, right? And we could do it on... We have a tween callback as well. Basically... So... What we could say is... We play this initial step. And then... On self... Tween callback. And we just say... Love you too, sweetie. So if there is a current step, then we do all this stuff. Otherwise, we do not. And then we just keep popping the front. And it's an array that we pass. So we go like that. Expected block. Object. the method name, and then the binds, it says, is an array, which I've put it in. Expected block and pattern. Expected block and pattern. Oh, it's expecting. Right. It's expecting, and I'm going to give it to it right here. What if we don't have that? Expected block and pattern. Okay, I'm almost done. Tweener. Oh. Gosh, that was annoying. Okay, so. Are we still working? Let's find out. Yeah. Okay. So now we can handle this parallel thing. So, what we do with the parallel is we hopefully parallel. So it needs to, we need to build the tween up and then fire them all off at the same time. So we might have to use a traditional. We might have to use a traditional tween, but maybe not, because what if we do this? We say tween, and we stop it. Maybe it's this easy. And then we play it at the end. And then all we need to do is we build them up here. Let's see. So 4 step in current step. Parallel step and current step. We say play step. Parallel step. What happens? Blah. Unable to iterate on type object. Current step. Parallel steps. Okay, let's try again. Seems to have worked. Let's move it. So we'll take it and we'll make it go somewhere else. Where's my mouse? Mouse? Where did you go? Mouse. Here, boy. Mouse. Hello. There it is. Oh, she's gone again. There it is. Oh. Are you serious? It's something to do with Godot. We're going to close and reopen Godot. What the heck is going on here? Sorry, I'm getting some weirdness. Okay. Now, let's bring it back up. Do this and this. Okay, so we have the dialogue step here. Let's put it at the end. There's parallel. Now, we could have them show up at different times. If we needed that from dialogue, we could. We could do this somewhere in the middle. Okay, well, I'm gonna leave it here, guys. Thank you, Donaldi. Have a good one. I gotta go. But yeah, I think we're going in the direction we need to be going with all this. I personally think so. I'm feeling good about it. There's a little bit more to consider about this whole parallel thing, specifically with the fact that I'm not using tweens for everything. We may want to always have the concept of time in any of this, and then we can easily tween that kind of stuff. Yeah, the other thing about doing things in parallel too is that we cannot like the thing like beat and all that stuff, that really can't work during that. Because you can't have a beat and a dialogue running in parallel. That doesn't make any sense. So there's some things we have to consider with that. But I'll let that roll around in my brain. Everyone, have a good night, and I'll see you next time. Bye.